Hey, good afternoon, guys. Josiah here with EasyCaters.com, and just doing a quick day trading review today. The market is back looking a little bit more bullish today. We've got, if we pull up the E-mini chart here, um, we had a volume signal yesterday, and this several stocks are giving a similar signal. I'm kind of waiting for my computer to catch up with me here. There we go. Sometimes it takes a minute on these futures for some reason. So the E-mini had this sell-off. We had this volume signal several days ago that didn't trigger, as you can see there. And then we came back down to a deeper level down here, as you can see. And I think I mentioned this several days ago that there was another volume level down here that we could potentially come down and test if this one didn't hold. And so this one, that's what happened here. We came down here, and so far we're testing this one and trying to bounce off of that. And so far it's looking pretty good. We had this nice little 30-minute 1, 2, 3 that went on in the market here. So that was a nice little trade in the market. I didn't take that. I've been looking at my 2-day trades for the day were on Hilton. As you can see here, we had some high churn on the open, and on this 15, it had a really nice little inside bar set up inside this 30-minute bar that had high churn. And so this 15 gave a nice risk to reward ratio on an indecision candle with super high churn. And when this one broke upward, it has so far, you can see here, it paused for a little bit here at 2 Rs and then went straight up to 4 Rs, and it's paused there. And so we'll see if it can go any further. So that was a nice trade early this morning. And then later on, I was looking around for another trade. And let's see, which one was that? Trying to, it slipped my mind which one I was trading earlier today. Oh, it was OMC is actually what it was. OMC had this. So I was actually kind of bullish on OMC on the daily chart. As you can see here, we had this daily pullback going on. And I had mentioned this in a prior video, how on the multiple time frames here, we had a quarterly pullback that happened. We broke out and triggered that. On the monthly, we were pulling back down to retest the breakout area. Here you can see this tail came down to retest the breakout area. And on the weekly, you can see we put in a volume churn bar on last week's bar. And so I mentioned this as we reviewed last week's volume signals. And so then we didn't trigger that. We came down here, put in yesterday's volume churn bar. And so I was looking at this and I'm saying, okay, this is stacking some more things in our favor here. It's no guarantee that this is going to be a nice swing trade or anything, but it could turn out to be that, and it's looking better. And it's right at the area that I would look for volume churn to show back up, indicating that there is support there. So I was kind of bullish on that today as it was breaking out above this candle, yesterday's candle. And so as we broke out of the high of yesterday, and then we were doing this high churn pullback. And again, that's exactly what I would expect to see. We've broken out, but we're meeting new demand as we pull back and test that prior day's highs. You can see here on the 5-minute chart, we are coming back down. This green line shows yesterday's high, and we dipped below it. Churn started coming in at both ends of that, and then if you look on the 15 or the 20 here, it's really easy to see that there was a nice little volume churn signal there on the 15. And so I bought it at 04, 79.04, and stopped under here. And so that one rocketed off immediately. You can see on the 5-minute, it just almost went straight to target in the first bar that triggered. Now, I actually got triggered in somewhere back in here where I got triggered in by a penny and had to sit around for a little bit. but as soon as it broke back over that 1 penny, it was right up to target almost immediately. So that one was nice, and it it was exactly what I look for in some ways. Some of the things didn't show up, but you can see volume at the high, volume at the low, and we're on a level that we're retesting, that we're trying to see if support is coming in, and the volume is showing that support came in. So that one was a high probability trade using relative volume, and those were my two trades for the day. There were a lot of other good setups today that I just, being human, I'm not able to catch everything. So UTX had a nice opening range churn on the 20. And you can see this, there was a little bit of an inside 10-minute here. So that was pretty good. I mean, it's not super clean, but that one worked for at least 2 hours, working its way up to 4 hours now. And the 5-minute makes it a little bit more clear here. Now this one was probably a little bit spready, I don't really know, but that looks like a nice little setup coming from a pullback trade type of setup where the daily is triggering in the swing longs. So you got some daily time frame traders coming in to support the move. So Fidelity had some kind of sideways churn here. Nice little level being put in here that you can see on this lower time frame chart. And right here on the 10 or on the 15, you can see volume signals exactly when liftoff is about to happen. And so as we break above that relative volume signal, it goes straight to target on that first bar. So that was another nice trade. I didn't catch that one, but I love this one because it has the daily context in its favor. You can see here, this is a swing trade that's triggering as we're triggering this intraday day trade. So you're getting the higher time frame buyers in your favor as well as the day traders. So DHI, this one was another one where we had some churn down here at the lows of this pullback. You can kind of see we're establishing kind of this level of churn. It was kind of a nice look on the 15 here. You could have taken it over this bar, or after we broke out to new highs, it pulled back again and gave a nice risk to reward setup there. And so that one would have been nice as well. So a couple of opportunities to get into that one before it started running. And again, that one triggered a swing trade with a relative volume signal just yesterday as well. I think PG, Procter & Gamble, something similar here, opening range churn. You can see it on the 15 especially. This is not a specific setup that I look for, but what volume is telling you here is good. We've got a thrust upward, and the pullback. On the pullback, we're doing a shallow pullback with high churn, and giving a better, more attractive risk to reward setup that you can see here on the 5 or the 10. Gave a really nice risk to reward. And so you could have done something like that on the 10-minute, or even the 5-minute would have given you 2 Rs up to the prior high of the day, as you can see right there. So those were the setups that I saw today. I took 2 of them. Looks like there were 5 or 6 of them altogether. And so I always look for that opening range churn. And you also want to make sure that you're in the right market environment for whatever type of trade you're taking. So if you're on the long side, then you need to make sure the market is in a situation where that is more likely to work in your favor. So the market is stronger today than it has been over the past several days. So both of my longs worked today, whereas they probably would not have worked in the past several days. So just need to be aware of your market conditions and keep that in mind when you're entering trades. So that's what I got today. There were a lot of swings that triggered, just like I showed you there in these intraday time frames, or these intraday trades are triggering daily time frame trades. A lot of trades like you can see here, there was a CSX had a nice high churn volume bar yesterday, or let's see, yeah, it would have been Monday, so that would have been yesterday, and so it's it's already gotten to 1R, 1 times your risk. KBH, this one was not as obvious, but it depends on what you're looking for. This is a 1, 2, 3 type of setup. And so that's pretty good. Here's a pullback. So the market was doing this type of pullback with a high volume churn bar yesterday. The market's triggering that entry today, and so several stocks are doing the same thing. You can see this on a lot of different setups here. Same exact setup. So some of them are definitely stronger than others, but they're all kind of offering the same thing. Here's a nice little example here, and today's bar is just straight up almost. Yeah, so all these triggering a volume signal from yesterday, and we'll see if the market stays strong tomorrow, if we have a continuation. So this one is almost to 1R on UNP. So several different trades there. Green side, and a little bit of an inside continuation candle there yesterday that we're triggering today. There's a nice little pullback on ABT. V had this is that ping pong look I always talk about, coming back, retesting level. Pepsi, kind of an inside 1, 2, 3 going on. See, it's not looking as strong yet, but it might get stronger here in the next day or so. Fizz, I think I mentioned earlier, that one is the day trade, and this one is looking really pretty as a swing trade as well. Swing trades that trigger and get you to almost to your first target in the first day, that's always nice. So there's a nice little setup on PHM as well. So that's what I was looking at today. Pretty much the same thing as always on these relative volume setups, pullbacks, and looking for volume to come in where I would expect it to at whatever level we're pulling back to. And then I look for, a move to start back in the direction of the trend. So that's what I've got today. Hopefully that helps with your analysis, and I will talk to you later. I'm going to be out of town, San Francisco, for the next couple of days for a wedding, and so I probably won't be doing videos, but we'll see you next week. Thanks.